There, it's Andy from Time to Play. Welcome to my gravel bike check. Excuse the surroundings here. I would probably rather shoot this down in the garage. It's raining, although it is a balmy 30-something, which is better than usual. But most days that garage is crazy cold. So if I do any kind of bike work or want to sort of do something like I'm doing here today, bring it in, move stuff out of the way, and shoot this way. And thanks to Diana, my trusty partner, for filming. So what I wanted to do was kind of go over the Poseidon Redwood, and this is my first ever gravel bike. I'm historically a mountain biker and have spent most of my time riding mountain bikes. But with the move to Idaho and with the availability of gravel rides and with the versatility of a machine like this, not only for riding and for training, but for camping and just getting out into the outback, which is what we love to do, it can't be beat. So, first and foremost, maybe about this bike is the retail price, which is $899.99, and that's from Poseidon Bikes. That's a direct-to-consumer model for bike distribution. This particular bike is the Redwood. They have a couple models. It's available in sizes from extra small, which is what Diana rides, up to an extra large. This is a medium frame. I'm 5'10", and Poseidon suggests this frame size for people from 5'9" to 6 foot or 6'1". I haven't had to change anything on it in terms of stem length, in terms of moving the stem up or down. It just happened to be a perfect fit for me. If you bought this as a frame, and it is available as a frame, you could build it up as a 29er or with 29-inch wheels, and Poseidon says up to 2.1-inch by 29 rubber will fit on this. But again, 650B as it is if you buy a complete bike. So I want to review some of the things that are stock about it from the factory, so to speak, and then spend a little bit of time talking about the few changes that I've made. Again, we talked about the frame. It is 6061 aluminum, hydroformed. Although it's aluminum, it's not as beefy to me as a lot of aluminum frames can be. It still looks pretty svelte, which I like. It has this olive drab military green color, which looks pretty nice. One thing about the paint, it is not clear coated, and so the paint is, I would call, very fragile. So if you care about that, I would recommend using racer tape or some kind of clear frame protective tape on it from the start. I'm not as worried about that. This is meant to be a bike that's, again, for camping as well as riding, and just a beater bike, but a pretty nice beater bike at that. In terms of the drivetrain, it is micro shift 10-speed, so the shifters and brake levers are micro shift, and then the rear derailleur is a 10-speed micro shift derailleur, and the cassette is 11 to 48 tooth cassette. So another nice thing about this bike in particular is a super wide gear range. 11 to 48 10-speed, that's a nice gear range for climbing. In front, we have a 38 tooth narrow wide chain ring, that's stock. And again, really cool about that is that should that prove to be too tall of a gear, then you can downsize that. So for our riding, for the time being, it's mostly flat because we're stuck inside because of the weather. But as we get into the year and get into more hill climbing, then we will have the option to downsize that chain ring. I did some research, and I believe all the way down to a 32 tooth is possible, which would be crazy. But again, for riding where you're doing a ton of climbing, it'd be nice to have that option, and it's a simple swap out. The bars are house brand drop bars with a 24-degree flare. So traditional gravel flare, which is, they're very comfortable, and I'll talk a little bit about a small change I made to that. The brakes are Tektro mechanical disc brakes. Those have 160 millimeter rotors front and rear. The stock seat post, which is not shown here, is an aluminum seat post. This isn't stock, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And then it comes with a stock saddle, house brand saddle as well. So you've got house brand parts for the cockpit, you've got Tektro brakes, and you've got a micro shift 10-speed drivetrain. So, you know, for $900, I think it's pretty good value. And the micro shift has worked great for us. It's so far it's been bulletproof. Nice, clean, quiet shifting, and so I expect to get a lot of mileage out of that. And then, of course, the bike has a lot of fittings for racks, whether you want to do fork racks. It's got 1, 2, 3 bottle racks on the size medium, a couple less on the small and the extra small. And then it's got racks in the back, or eyelets for racks in the back. So it's ready to go for bike packing as well, should that be your flavor. And I have seen some posts online on Instagram of people using it for bike packing, and they've got fully loaded. So it's definitely a great option for that. Let's talk a little bit about some of the changes that we've made, that I've made. First, the wheels. These are the stock wheels, and again, those are house brand wheels. They are tubeless ready wheels, but the tires that come stock with the Redwood are Kenda, and they are not tubeless ready tires. And one of the first things that I did was convert to tubeless, and you can thank our cat for her photo bombing. A tubeless, as a mountain biker, tubeless is kind of like an essential from my mind, and so it was something that I didn't consider an option. And the fact that the wheels were tubeless compatible was a huge selling point for me. I run Maxxis tires on all my mountain bikes, and so it was a natural choice for me for these. These are Maxxis Ikon 2.35. That's a nice low tread for riding on hardpack and on street, but still gives plenty of traction. That was the first major change from stock. The second major change was a dropper post. And I'm going to take this down for a sec. Being mountain bikers and having plans to ride these on our local single track here in the Boise area, you want to have a dropper post. At least I do, especially when you're running drop bars, because to really get maximum braking power on drop bars like this, you have to be able to get down low. And if you've ridden a mountain bike in the last 5 years, chances are pretty good at having a dropper post. And if you've used a dropper post, I don't need to sell you on the benefits. It's incredible. It's game changing. And so the post that I chose was PNW Components. Great company. I have a couple of their posts on mountain bikes. Their posts are, and all of their components are now protected by a lifetime warranty, which is nice. But the post is super reliable because it's designed in the Pacific Northwest. It's, suitable for cold weather operation, which is something that we run into here. This is a pine post, pine. It's available in 27.2 diameter and both a 90 degree and a 100 degree drop. This is a 90 degree drop because that's what would fit, not down here, but this became the crucial measurement from the bottom of the collar to the rails. This the 100 millimeter would have been too long for me, and 90 is plenty. Definitely nice. 10 years ago, a 90 millimeter dropper post would have been state of the art. But perfect for just getting the seat down and out of the way, not only for downhill and for braking, but if you have a fully loaded bike, if you're bike packing, it's easier to get up on the bike, without that danger of tilting over from all your gear. So that's probably the single biggest change that I've made in terms of controls. Straightforward installation. I'm going to turn this around for a sec and show you that one of the nice things about the Redwood frame is it has tabs for an external post, so that these are already there and already ready to go. So that really greatly eases the installation versus an internal post. And basically, you run the line down, and then underneath the bottom bracket, the frame is open. And you run the cable up through there. And then the other nice thing is they include a port, an exit port for your cable for your dropper post. So that is a nice feature that is already built into the frame. By far the easiest dropper post installation I've done. There's something to be said for externally routed posts. Old-fashioned, but also good for a reason. Because I had to take that bar tape all the way off to install the remote, I went ahead and upgraded the bar tape to specialized bar fat. And bar fat basically has gel pads that fit underneath the bar tape and give that extra padding, not only for shock absorption, but for vibration. So it's just a nice way to augment the cushiness of these big meaty tires, a little bit less hand fatigue. We'll take a look while we're in the handlebar area at the Shimano Post, or the Shimano Pro remote lever. And basically the nice thing about this lever is it can be operated both from the drops and from the hoods and from the drops. So no matter where you are on the bar, that remote is within reach. Super clean routing for that. Again, really easy. Not cheap, but no remotes are. Most remotes are $50 to $80, $90, and this one was about 80. So it's kind of right in that middle segment. But it works great. Super clean and convenient. And you want that with a dropper post. You want to be able to reach it easily. That way you're just bound to use it more. Other than that, I have an Arundel bottle cage, carbon fiber. I've had this cage probably for 15 years. Again, probably a $60, $70 cage, not cheap, but that's the last cage you'll ever buy. And bottles never eject from it. It's just a great post. And then I have my little Arundel bell. That's useful when we're on the greenbelt, alerting people that we're coming by. The other thing that I have that's not on here right now for wintertime use is bar mitts. The bar mitts were a lifesaver when we first started riding these outside in the cold. It was our hands that suffered the most. And those bar mitts are a game changer. I'll leave links for all of these things, in the description, just so you can have a reference point. And then I talk a little bit about the bags that I'm using right now. I have a Revelate Designs frame bag. This is the size small or small medium. Depending upon where you shop for this, you may see both descriptions. The tag inside this says small medium, and it's a perfect fit on this size medium frame. Just make sure you measure your frame and get the biggest bag possible that will fit in your frame. And then this is just a small top two bag that I found on Amazon. These are all pretty similar, and I can store my phone and my extra battery in there for easy access. This is the fine dropper post from P&W Components. Again, 27.2, 90 millimeter drop. Perfect not only for this size medium, but it's also just going to fit on Diana's extra small frame. In order to make this work with this, you're going to need a shim, a Seatpost shim. And again, I found this on Amazon, and it's a shim that goes from 27.2 to 31.6. Works perfect. No slippage, no issues whatsoever with that. Change I forgot to mention was the saddle. The stock saddle, again, is house brand Poseidon. Interesting shape. I think it might be inspired by an old physique saddle. Saddles are very personal, as you know, and for me, this is a little too narrow, and just not what I prefer. And so I have a WTB Volt Saddle. Again, not better or worse. It's just I know that it's on one or more of my mountain bikes, and I know that it's comfortable for me. It's the right size, and it's a nice fit. I think that's about it. Again, a mountain biker's gravel bike. We'll be using these to continue training in 2021 with an eye on completing Rebecca's private Idaho ride on Labor Day weekend of this year. And the hope is that these steeds carry us up and down and around 4,300 some feet of climbing and 56 some miles. So comfort is essential. Climbing range and the adjustability of climbing range is essential. And again, the ability to carry stuff in bags, whether it be jackets or food or tools, is a nice to have. So we're nervous, but we're stoked about it. And I thought it'd be fun to kind of share what it is we'll be riding. So hope you enjoyed it. Again, look in the description for links. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to send them. And if you want to see more content about graveling and these bikes and our adventures, then feel free to subscribe. Thanks.